Hi guys, how we doing? Welcome back to the Free Hammers podcast. Here, as always, with Luke. No Lee again this week. As I said, before, he's not going to be able to make it quite a lot of the time now. We're going to try and bring a few guests in. So I've got a very, very special guest with us today. We've got Gio over from Hammers Chat. How's it going, mate? You all right?
Yeah, I'm not bad. Have I got to take the role of slagging off in the nose now?
Yeah, well, feel free.
Yeah, you have to be the guy who's the opinionated one for this week now.
Big shoes to fill.
Yeah, can I start off, Gio, just by saying congratulations. 5,000 subscribers on YouTube now. Fantastic effort from you boys over there. Yeah.
Appreciate it. We all appreciate it. Thank you.
No, it's great work. For those who don't know, Gio, would you like to sort of introduce yourself and what your channel's about and stuff?
Similar to yourselves, really. Reviews, previews, the bread and butter stuff. We're ready to try some new stuff over the summer because, like you, I'm sure that you're struggling for a little bit of content. We're trying to come up with new ideas. But yeah, we like to think ourselves as a community because we've got the online forum as well. So we're just trying to keep every plate spinning, which is a lot easier said than done. But luckily, myself and Gons have got a few good people behind us, like Charlie and young Tom, etc., who help out endlessly. You guys know what it's like trying to edit a video. You put a lot of time and effort into it, and we're lucky that we've got a network of people behind us.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, guys, obviously Hammers Chat have a boat before and after the West Ham games. Great idea, actually. I've been there a couple of times now on the boat. Yeah, how do people go about getting onto those boats, Gio, if they ever want to on a match day for next season and stuff?
Come on to the forum, chat.com, or follow us on social media. All the stuff goes up. But they've been a fantastic success. I actually phoned them literally almost a year ago to hire a boat for one game, really. I just wanted to hire it for one game. Because everyone on Hammers Chat was speaking on the forum and we'd never met. Some of them have been speaking for 10 years on the old forum. There used to be another one and before Hammers Chat was formed. So some of them have been speaking digitally for 10 years. So well, let's meet up in the summer and have a pint together. So we did that and it was a really good day. So I thought I wouldn't mind hiring a boat before the game on that canal, get more of the firm involved, etc. And the guy basically said, why don't you hire for every single game this season? We'll give it a bash and we increase the capacity bit by bit. Like West Ham, we've had to comply with it. You see, and I can assure you, Karen Beatty's got a tough job on their hands dealing with that lot. But yeah, it's been fantastic, and it's people like yourselves coming down and supporting us that's made it happen. So thank you to everyone.
No, it's brilliant.
Really,
really
good
enjoyed it. I really did enjoy it. Obviously, when hopefully Paul pop over next year, and we'll definitely come again. Yeah, and it's nice to see the big YouTubes on there as well. Obviously, you've had Bazinga on there. I think Spencer's been on as well. At some point, did Spencer come on?
Ethan Bazinga, he comes every week with his friend Charlie, who's got his YouTube channel, and then Spencer hasn't been himself, but Spencer's dad and his brothers Seb and Saunders have been down. We've had Cass Pennant, Marlon Harewood, Alan Taylor.
West Ham Fan TV boys have been on there. Post-match pint a couple of times, haven't they, as well?
Yeah, we had Taylor, who scored in the FA Cup final for West Ham. He's been down as well. So we've had a few. Chris Akabusi. We've had some really. Yeah, he's a legend and a half. So we've had some really decent names down there. That's what it's all about, really, isn't it?
I feel like we glossed over the legend that was Marlon Harewood there.
Oh, what? Marlon's been
Marlene's been on the boat.
Yeah, he had a hard time because he did the review. He agreed to do the review with us. So we went to the game. After the game, and we got beat 5-1 by Arsenal. He'd sit there and talk about that, and I'd had a few much to drink, and I was giving him a thing. He was refusing to criticise any of the players, and that's when I was saying that the players weren't playing for Village. I felt like the players weren't trying, and he was trying to say, oh, they are, and I was trying to say to him, well, how can you possibly say that? Well, they've literally just stood still, like the Arsenal player. So I put him in a really awkward position. He's not been back since. Oops.
I watched your season review on Hammers Chat. Just for anyone who's not caught it, sort of sum up what went wrong last year for you, Gio. What do you make of last year in general?
On or off the pitch, where do we start?
That's very true.
Well, I think the stadium, the transfer, I still think, I know this is an unpopular thing, I don't think the summer transfer last window was a disaster. I think last summer's transfer transfer window was actually all right. It was just disappointing. It was a case of who we missed on rather than who we actually got. The players we got apparently are fine. Figuli, we've got some really young talent in there, Fletcher. We've obviously signed Lanzini on a permanent. IU, I think's proven that he's a 20 million player come the end of the season. I think with another month to go of the season, I think he could have been a contender for the hammer of the season, but he would have been best signing of the award perhaps. And I think the permanents were fine. It was just the loans, Tioté, and then and the freebie below. So it just sort of says if you do it on the cheap, you're going to get cheap attitudes and you're going to get cheap displays. But if you actually go out and source the right players, Masuaku, Fernandez, we've now got 2 players who've trebled in value, I think, in those 2. I think I wouldn't sell them. I don't know about you two, about selling them.
I see an article in the Mirror, I think it was last week, about forgotten signings of the summer, and Fernandez was in there, and I thought that's very harsh because I thought he was an excellent player. I thought he really tidy player.
He's a young player as well, so obviously he's probably going to come on more next season. But no, I agree. We've said a few times on our channel, the signings at the time, we were all saying pretty good signings. We were all happy enough with the signings. Who would have thought that signing Zaza, striker coming from Juventus, done pretty well in Italy, would flop at West Ham? Who would have thought Torre, before he signed, everyone was raving about him. I was really excited to see him come over and play for West Ham. Got injured, didn't really get a chance. But I think that for me the biggest issue is the biggest signings we needed to make in the summer were striker and a right back. Now I think they're the signings that we needed to make for the last 3-4 windows. And you could look and say, yeah, we did do it on the cheap, and that side of it was disappointing. But then, who would you say that's down to? Is that down to the owners? Is that down to Bilic? I
think it's probably the fact that I get the feeling sometimes there's a lack of authority with the transfers. It's almost like they say Bilic has final say, then what's the point in that, really? Bilic's job should be to get the team ready for Saturday afternoon. His job should be to get the team ready for Saturday afternoon, pick the team for the Saturday afternoon, and he should be able to go to Tony Henry in quite confidence and say, right, I need a right back who can get over. I need a right back who can cross the ball, but also can do. Then it's Tony Henry's job to go out and find that perfect and fit Bilic's game plan. Last summer, I keep saying Liverpool's the example because they went Mane. They had to pay through the nose for him, but that's how Klopp plays. That's how Klopp needed a right winger who was fast, who could contribute goals, who will hassle defenders. So they identified Mane as that player. They spent a lot of money on him, 36 million, but it worked into the plan. So rather than getting you want all these attributes, you're lacking these 2, but it's a bit cheaper, so here you go, and it doesn't work out. Rather than getting a wonky bit of jigsaw, how about you go get the actual jigsaw piece so Bilic can complete it? And the fact, I don't like this whole blame the transfers on Bilic. I really don't like it at all.
No, I've said that every week. I think they use that to sort of hang him out to dry a little bit sometimes.
Well, when we signed January, we signed Font and Snodgrass. Now, I thought Font was a decent signing when we signed him. I thought a very experienced, decent centre-back. Snodgrass was a lukewarm reception by most West Ham fans, I think. I think everyone thought, why are we going for him? But the point is, on transfer deadline day with Sullivan on TalkSport, we're going to Premier League players, going after Premier League proven players, British players. And David Gold was saying the same on BT before the Man City game on the Friday night. Ian Wright was pushing him about it, and he was saying, we're going after British players. And as soon as Font and Snodgrass weren't playing that well after a month, them 2 went into reverse. Everything got blamed on Bilic. You weren't saying that when we signed them, though. I bet if they were a success, you'd been like, yes, this was our new strategy. But listen, it's last season now. We draw a line under it. We've had a good start against Zabaleta in.
And I've got to say I respect that they're actually being a bit quiet so far. So far, they've been very quiet. Like Jack's been very quiet on Twitter. Obviously, you've got some leaks in the nose, but in terms of the club, they should be doing it right this year. Hopefully, it stays that way. Zabaleta, like I say, fantastic son. I was very happy with that. What's your opinions on Iheanacho? I know Gonzo was struggling to say that on your thing the other day as well.
It's easy. I find it easier to spell, funny enough. I'm twisted trying to say it as well. I was getting tongue twisted, Iheanacho. But listen, he's my number one. If we can get him, I'd be over the moon. I'd be delighted. He's too good for West Ham. I genuinely think he's too good for West Ham. But so was Payet. Lanzini's probably too good at the moment. And it's
I agree with that.
Yeah. So that Lanzini stays, etc. And if we've got the chance of going and getting someone like him, we'll have to grab with both hands. All you have to do is look at how much Mbappe's going for. Linked with 120 million. I know it's euros, but 120 million move or something. That's what a young player at the top is. We're never going to get that. But I don't think Iheanacho is that far off. He's not quite elite.
What do you think about the potential buyback clause that sounds like it's going to be demanded?
What do you think about it? Does it put you off at all?
It doesn't. I have to say, it doesn't really put me off, because if he has a good enough couple of seasons that they're going to want him buyback, he's probably going to go anyway.
Even if the buyback wasn't there, another club, like you say, if he's playing well, another club is going to come in for him. Surely.
I think it's going to be very difficult now after the likes of what happened with Pogba. Obviously, Man United let him go for next to nothing and then signed him back for 90 odd million. I think it's going to be very, very difficult to get any young prospect now without a buyback clause inserted in, because the big clubs are not going to want to make that mistake again.
No, it's the same with Chelsea and Lukaku. If it is Chelsea and Lukaku's decided he's off to, I mean, they're going to be paying through the nose for him. But if City do trigger the buyback, it means he's been scoring goals for us.
That means we're probably doing well. Yeah,
he's been banging them.
What sort of figure would you be happy with, though? If we're talking a buyback figure, what sort of figure would you be like? Okay, that's fair enough.
It depends on what we pay, obviously. But I think if we can, maybe 20 million, maybe profit. So we're paying 25, 45, we're paying 30, 50. It almost turns into we get paid 20 million to have him on loan for a couple of seasons.
That's a good way of looking at it, actually. Yeah.
The thing is, though, Iheanacho still has to then agree to move back to Man City. If we're playing him every week, he's scoring goals, he's enjoying his football, there's every chance he's going to say, actually, I don't want to go sit on your bench. I don't want to go sit on your bench.
Especially if he's a hero. If we make him a hero, like our fans are more than capable of doing. I've said it last week a little bit. I think West Ham need to be aiming for these sort of players to keep the likes of Lanzini, because that was the question last week of where do you see us in 5 years' time? And I said, if Lanzini's still there in 5 years' time, then you know where we're going to be as a club. If he's not there, then we may have gone back down this route again. Do you agree with that we need to buy to keep Lanzini really this year?
Yeah, I think we're going to have to. Last summer was an eye-opener and a reminder for us all. I think all of us got our hopes up with the stadium move. I think we got misled by the board. But I've said it before, I think David Sullivan lied to himself. I think David Sullivan probably stood in pitch side of that new stadium, looked around thinking, wow, look at this, I'm going to be able to get top players at this club now. I think he probably believed he could, and then when he went to go do it, he sort of thought, hang on a minute, why is no one wanting to come play at our new ground? I think he got a reality check last year as well. But until we get to this next level everyone's talking about, what that is, I don't know. I assume it's Europa League football every season, but there's got to be a bridge, and on that bridge is deals like buyback clauses. It's going to be deals like Zabaleta, where you take a gamble that their legs are still in it for a couple of years, because we would never be able to get a 28-year-old Zabaleta. No chance, not at all. So we're going to have to take punts somewhere, and we're going to have to accept getting bent over and getting our ass back a little bit on deals, and that's what the natural one is, because at any point they can take him back pretty much. But we're just going to have to accept it. And it's up to us that if we do get Iheanacho in, it's up to us to act very fast to get a team in around him and Lanzini. You say we need to build around Lanzini, I agree with that. But it's up to us to get players in like Lanzini, so then we're building a team around 2 players, then it becomes 3 players and 4 players.
Yeah.
The core players are good. We don't need to add much to it. There's a reason for 3 players this summer.
Yeah, you touched it a little while ago about Lukaku, obviously very close apparently to be joining Chelsea now. Is that now going to open up, obviously, Migi to come to West Ham, in your opinion? I want him and that would be dream summer. That would be unbelievable up top, them two.
Oh,
I mean, it's a funny one. I agree, actually. Yeah, I would love to see both of them come in, but then the more I think about it, it's a difficult one. So Iheanacho, if we get him in, we can't really put everything on his shoulders. He's still a young player. He's still a prospect. We can't rely on him to carry us through the season. So we do need someone else. but then are they going to be happy sharing that spotlight? Do you know what I mean? Is Batshuayi and Iheanacho going to be happy sharing that striker position? Are they going to be happy sitting on the bench for West Ham every other week? I don't know. I think realistically, we're going to need to get one of those two. I would prefer Iheanacho, although obviously Batshuayi has shown towards the end of the season he has got it. He
scored
can
last
score in the
night
Premier League.
actually for Belgium as well.
So, I think it's going to be one of them, and then another, possibly an older, more experienced striker who's happy to sort of guide them through and then sit back a bit when needed. Do you know what I mean? Someone who's not necessarily going to demand to play every single week. Or maybe even Andy Carroll could take that role. I don't know. And then sign a backup to those two.
I'm not keen on the loan of Batshuayi. I don't know why. If it was a permanent signing, I'm a bit like Paul. It has to be one or the other, really. I don't think we could afford both anyway permanently. But the loan sort of be... when Paul says one of them's going to have to sit on the bench, we all know fine who it'll be Batshuayi because Iheanacho's our player, so he should be starting. That's what we will all say. Why are we playing this guy when he's going back to Chelsea when our guy is now sitting on the bench? So we all know who it would be. So it would be Batshuayi that's having to sit on the bench, and he's going on the bench at Chelsea to bench at West Ham. It's not a great move, but with the Lukaku thing, if he is going to Chelsea and Batshuayi is going out, if it's us he's coming to, it means that everything are going to be going after Iheanacho very fast, and they're going to have a lot of money.
That's very true. Didn't even think of that.
It's good news that Chelsea are going to get Lukaku, makes Batshuayi available. But it also means that they need a replacement for Lukaku fast. And there's one sitting at Etihad for 25-30 million, and I just hope that, we heard there's sort of rumours that we put in a bid a week and a half ago now, and we've not really heard back. Well, I'd be a bit disappointed if that's the case. So we have actually just put in a bid and we've not heard anything, so we've just left it. It'd be disappointed we haven't gone back in and try to up the terms a little bit or something, because there's going to be a race for Iheanacho's signatures very shortly, and we've got to make sure we're at the forefront, because last season we dilly-dallied on a few deals and fingers burnt. Like the Batshuayi one, it was us and Palace dilly-dallying, bang, in came Chelsea and they got him straight away, and that's going to happen with Iheanacho if we're not careful. Someone's just going pinging in, pay the money, get him, and we're going to sit there wondering what's happened.
That's it. And Everton are very good at business as well. I've always been a admirer of Everton, the way they do things, and I hate that, but Spurs as well. I admire the way they do things as well at their club.
Not confuse you though that we've got the guy now at our club that used to do the business at Everton, yet we can operate like they are. Does it not make you wonder who the problem is at West Ham?
Well, yeah, that's it. It's all good and well having someone to identify the players, but then you need to rely on the people above him to actually go and get them. And like you say, that's where potentially there's issues, I suppose. But I don't know. We'll have to see what happens this summer. I mean, it's worth remembering, the transfer window's not even open yet officially. So, and like you say, the owners have been pretty quiet, which I'm really pleased to see. It seems like they're going about things the right way. Obviously, Zabaleta got done nice and early. Fantastic to see. So I'm optimistic about this summer, but I'm not in any way going to be getting carried away,
Just a couple of other players, some rumours that have come this week. Kamil Grosicki, is that his name? From Hull, wide man? The Hull wide man? What do you read into that? That's a bit of a stab in the dark one. Again, these are all rumours. Just want to know what your opinions are on these rumours, guys, obviously.
We already signed one Hull wide man and he flopped, so I don't think we need another one.
Yeah, and he was Hull's best player.
Yeah.
He impressed me when I seen him at the end of last season for Hull. He did impress me. He impressed me against us. I thought he was the one that won them the game. He came on at half time, didn't he, against us? And that's when they went on to win the game. But
I don't know. I think if we were signing players based on how well they played against us last year, we'd sign after league.
The one that did excite me a little bit, it was again a rumour, is the guy from Middlesbrough, Traore. I think he is absolutely rapid. Again, I don't think he'll sign for us. I really don't. But I'd like us to be into the mix with someone like that, because he was ruthless against us.
He's very fast. He's a quick. Sorry, mate. Go on.
I struggle with him. I don't buy into this thing everyone else does. The amount of times I've seen him and I've been disappointed with what he does with the ball. I know it's about potential and it's about trying to teach him what to do with the end product. It just reminds me of Walcott. I remember when he was a kid, he was rapid He could go by players. When he got to the byline, though, the ball was just going nowhere, and you just thought, what a shame, if only. And I just got a feeling Chow is a bit like that for me. He just frustrates me. I think it was Man U, he was playing the end of last season, took on about 3 or 4 players, got to like 6-yarder and like fell over in the box and fluffed it. And I just thought, I don't know. I think we've got Antonio to do that role in a way. He sort of frustrates a lot. And
would you
with 2 of them?
Would you like to see? We talk about this every week. I'd just like to know another channel's opinion on this. Would you like to see Masuaku pushed up to possibly go into a left wing position as a trial? Just see whether he could do it, possibly in pre-season. See how he gets on.
There'd be no harm in it. He's definitely got something going forward. So does Creswell actually, and I think if you can get them to really combining so that say Creswell overlaps Masuaku, gets caught out of position, Masuaku knows to bomb it back and play the left back role until I think you could have a really good partnership. But then it's sort of, if Creswell's out injured for a game, you've lost your left back and your left winger, because you're then going to have to move him back. But there'd be no harm in it. No harm in it at all.
Yeah, no, I like that he could sort of go past the player in the last sort of few games. I thought he played excellently.
He's got good feet. He's got a trick in him. He's got very good feet.
Strong lad. Harshly treated from that West Brom game. I say that nearly every week on this channel, but harshly treated for me because there were West Ham fans calling like this guy's going to keep Cresswell out of the team, and then he had one bad game and he was slated.
I think that in the Faguli and the Nordvite, I think all their anger vented towards them was just off the back of the window as a whole. I think West Ham fans had a lot of frustration, a lot of anger, a lot of disappointment built up in them. They needed somewhere to point the finger, and we were pointing the finger at anyone we could. Sullivan, Brady. Brady doesn't affect results on the football pitch, but she was still getting the blame for everything. Bilic eventually then got it from a lot of the fans as well, and Martin Noble was getting our captain, the guy that gives 100%.
I give it to a bit. I'll take that. I did make a video.
I know. The thing is, what we're saying is everyone got the blame at some point. I think our new signings were the main culprits of that on the pitch, unfortunately. And I think that was just one of the incidents. And a bit like Nordvite at Spurs when he gave away that penny and we said, "Oh my God, look how rubbish he is," And I think it was just the emotions overriding from the window.
I think West Ham fans are prone to that though. I think they really are. They're very could be very, very stubborn as well. I think a lot of people, especially the likes of Faguli, a lot of people I think made their mind up on him very quickly that he weren't good enough, and then no matter how well he played after that, they wouldn't change their opinion. They were too stuck in it. No, I said he was rubbish, so now I need to say no, he's rubbish no matter what. And I think it's frustrating, but I do think that is the thing with West Ham fans. I was watching I can't remember what it was now. I was watching something the other week and I had a guy on. No, it weren't that. I was actually talking about it last week on a podcast. It was about Vaz Tay, and it was a thread on Knees Up Mother Brown. And like I said, I mentioned this last week. He was saying that West Ham's a scary club to play for because the fans, when they're behind you, they're really, really behind you. But when they turn on you, you can really feel it on the pitch. And I do think I think West Ham fans have always been that way. I really do. I think West Ham fans can be very quick to judge, and then they can be very stubborn as well with their opinions.
I think it's football fans in general now, especially with social media. There's a told you so brigade nowadays. Whether it's something is as well. Someone says, "Oh, I think this person's going to be good," and he turns out to be quite good. They're very quick to go find their tweets from a year ago and retweet it themselves. Yeah. I told you, tagging their friends. Look what I told you. I called it. We do the same. Us three probably do the same as well. I podcast a year ago. I said he'd be a good sign. There's a told you so. There's almost like a pride thing because we've got access to so much football stats and analysis and knowledge on the end of our fingertips now. Years ago when you got linked with a player, they wouldn't have known who it is. Today you tell me a name I've never heard of, I could probably give you a good paragraph about him within 10 minutes. I could go on various sites, go on various forums and drag all this information. And there's a told you so culture, and sometimes it's the blame culture, and it's I told you he was crap, I told you he was rubbish. And unfortunately, Paul's right, there is a few fans that just sit and wait for that player to mess up just so they can say, I told you he would do that. It's a bit like me with Tioté. If we did sign Tioté and the first few games he kept losing the ball, he kept skinning people, I would back to you, Luke, and say, I told you he was his
yeah.
It wasn't very good. It's just what we do, unfortunately.
Yeah. I agree.
I think I'm the opposite, to be honest. I'm always an optimist. See, whenever we sign players, I always think they're going to come good. Always, even like Luke will tell you, I've got an irrational love for Enner Valencia. I'm just waiting for one day for it to just.
You
click,
defended Cagliari the whole year, mate.
I did, yeah.
Cagliari
I know,
on the
because,
whole year.
and I still think there's a player in there with Cagliari. I really do. It didn't work out West Ham. I think maybe if we'd have given him another season, maybe it'd have come on. Maybe, he needed a bit of luck that didn't go his way. I don't know. I remember when we signed Savio all them years ago. I thought, this is it. Brilliant. This guy's going to be amazing. I can't wait. Well, look what happened there. So.
He was in the paper the other day, that guy. I think he signed for a third division German club or something like that already.
Worse than that. I think it's 5th division.
Fifth division.
Yes.
I was watching football the other night, and Wellington Paulista, do you remember him?
Yes.
Came on loan to us a few years ago. He's playing over in Brazil now. He's doing it right. That's obviously his level. But yeah, it was quite interesting to see he's still going.
Sean Maguire just signed for Preston from Cork. That old hammer. He was been banging him in Ireland the last couple of seasons. I think he's scored 4 goals and he's played games. So he's away to Preston. So we can see how he gets on. But I don't know about yourself, Paul. I consider myself be like the Mr. Patient of Hammer's I backed Zaza until the day he left. And
I liked Zaza.
I blamed the deal. I said, how can any player perform with a 15-game net chain around net weighing him down? Possibly perform. You've got 15 games to get in, settle down, move family over, settle them down, and score some goals for us. So we do need a bit of patience, but we'll see.
Yeah. Any other news from you guys before we move on to the questions, as we've been talking for quite a while? Anything?
I think just wanted to mention as well, very, very sad news. Obviously, Cheick Tioté passed away. Shocking. 30 years old.
Good player as well.
He was a very good player. Very good player. It's quite worrying, This has happened a few times in recent years now. I mean, I don't know whether. I mean, what do you guys make of that? Should there be more done in screening? Is that something that can even be picked up on, or is it just one of those things because maybe it happens every day, but just because these people are in the spotlight, it's picked up on more? I don't know. Like, what do you think about that?
Well, for me, it brings back memories of Vivian Fay when I was a kid as well. But yeah, apparently there are rumours that Cheick meant to go for a test, Cheick Tioté, and he missed test. I think it was out of fear, maybe, if they find something. But yeah, there's certainly something wrong there with that African community players. I don't know. What do you think, Joe, on that?
I'm not too sure. I think it's just lack of knowledge in the area that you sort of feel like you shouldn't really comment too much. Is it? I know you say should be extra screening. I don't know what screening's already in place, if there is any at all, or if they do loads of screening, they just miss it. I don't know. But the more that can be done to prevent it, the better, really. Like you said, look, is it African? Someone on our forum asked if it was to do with he doesn't even know if he is a Muslim. Is it to do with Ramadan? Is that as well? Is it to do with that? He doesn't know. Is it? But I don't know. If that can be done to help it, then the better. But it's sad news anyway for anybody to lose a life, especially age of 30. And apparently his wife.
Baby on the way as well. Yeah.
Baby this week. I mean.
Yeah. I mean.
Yeah. Terrible.
It is. Okay, let's get these questions done. Okay, first one. I think it's Ibra, WHU. Wishful thing there, Ibra at West Ham. Do you think Iheanacho will sign? Obviously, we touched on it already. I think he will. Like Gio sort of said, as long as we don't dilly-dally really on the deal. Yeah.
I don't know. The longer it goes on, the less chance we've got. That's basically what we've been saying. The longer it goes on, the less chance we've got. But fingers crossed. We'd love to see it.
The thing that's making me positive about it, or optimistic, is we're not being linked with that many other strikers. Last summer there was a very scattergun approach back.
Yeah, there was a German guy today. I can't remember. Was his name Timo something? Timo Werner or something like that. Yeah, he scored something like 21 goals in 31 last year.
Werner, the Leipzig guy. Yeah,
that's it. Yeah, the Leipzig guy.
No chance of him happening. That boy's 21. I think he scored 21 and set up 7. He's a £40 million player. Leipzig are unlimited funds. We're not getting anyone from them. No chance.
Kiwi Hammer. do you think West Ham's general atmosphere has picked up since the signing of Pablo Zabaleta? Yeah, I feel a little bit more positive already. Again, I like the way the deal was done, that nothing was sort of leaked from the club. So again, if it carries on that way, I'll be very, very happy. Are you happy with that signing, Gio? Didn't actually get your comment on whether you were happy with Zabaleta or not.
Yeah, I was delighted with that, actually. I mean, initially, like 3-4 months ago, I thought, not another 33-year-old right back. Oh, here we go again. But the more I thought about it, you can look at it like that, or you can look at it as we're getting a right back full of experience, who last season was playing. Pep was playing him in important Champions League games. Okay, he was defensive midfield, but Pep Guardiola, who's regarded as by some as the best manager in the world, is trusting Zabaleta to be in the front of his defence in a Champions League game in the later stages. And I remember at the World Cup 2014, I remember saying to my friends, and I think he's the best right back in the world right now, when he was playing for City, then Argentina. So, yeah, I'm delighted with it. I'm really warm to it. When you see the videos of him, you see the reception he's been given by City fans, I think that sort of helps it a bit. I think the atmosphere is picked up just by the season ending, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. Making some of the videos last year was an absolute struggle. It really was, to have to make videos of some of the losses last year. Gary Everett, morning guys. Was just wondering which players we should be trying to get in next season to keep up the great work. So I'll go to you, Joe, first. Actually, who would be your dream? So if you're talking the quality signings, who would be your dream? Let's just say that we're going to stick to 3-4 players that Bilic said he wanted. Who would be your dream 4? Let's take Zabaleta out of that. So there's 3 left.
I'd say Nacho would be one, to be honest with you. Probably Sigurdsson. Sigurdsson from Swansea would be the other one. And you would need another striker. And this might sound silly, but Llorente. Purely because I'm taking Sigurdsson, I'm going to take the guy that he can link with as well.
Perfect. Yeah.
He's someone who won't mind sitting on the bench, and he's a different player to Nacho, and he's a slightly different player to Andy Carroll as well. So I think there's 3 sort of realistic signings, to be honest with you.
Would you take Fernando Torres if he was available?
Mate, literally Torres was going to be one of my 3. I was going to say Nacho, Torres, and then I don't know, possibly Barkley. In the realm of players it's possible when we've maybe been linked to, but yeah, 100%, I'd be well happy to see Fernando Torres come here. Probably not as the main man, like you say, as an addition to an Iheanacho or Batshuayi, but yeah, 100%. He tore it up. Season just gone.
Yeah, Fernando Torres.
Yeah, as long as Paul's alluded to, as long as the other strikers sort of as good a quality as we could get. I wouldn't want like a Fernando Torres and then a Negredo or something. I'd feel a little bit disappointed. I'd be happy with one of them and a top striker. So yeah. What about yourself?
For me, I would love Ross Barkley. Again, I touched on that. Whether that deal can happen, I don't know. I think maybe he's got bigger fish to fry. Again, Sigurdsson, but again, I can think he will go to Everton. I hope not. I hope we're in that pan. I would like me. I just like his size and his power. I think he'd be a good one. I don't know. I do like that Tadic rumour as well. I think Tadic would be a good player for us. But yeah, I'm going to let them decide for me. What about goalkeeper wise? Do you think we need a new goalkeeper? Would you be in the pan for Joe Hart if it was 20 million to get? No, I agree. I don't want Joe Hart.
I know a lot of people do, but I think he's error prone. He's had a horrendous season in Italy by the signs of it, so we'd be starting a keeper with, I'd imagine, no confidence. And at City, when he was winning the title, he had the best defence in the league in front of him. He had Vincent Kompany in his prime, Zabaleta in his prime. He had the best defence. He didn't have much to do, really, and I think if you put him in a team like West Ham where he's going to be busy a lot of the game, he's going to make even more errors.
It could kill his confidence as well, especially if Adams has one of his wobbly seasons.
Oh, you what though? Did you see Randolph the other night?
No, I didn't see it. Oh,
you see it.
Yeah.
He's done it again. You come for He's come for the cross, and he's not got anywhere near it, and he's gone in.
How many times have we seen Randolph do that this season, though? Like, I've said it so many times on this channel. He's got zero presence, and for who's supposed to be a goalkeeper, I've never seen such a weak goalkeeper. I mean, it's no. I think we do need another goalkeeper, but not as a number one. As I've said many times, I'm really happy with Adrian as our number one.
He's had a bit of a wobble.
Adrian's more than good enough. Yeah, but I think he's more than good enough to be our number one. But I would like to see someone come in. Not to be honest, I'd be happy enough with Randolph as backup, but I don't think Randolph is going to be happy with that. Now he's had a good taste of first team football this season. I think he's probably going to look to move on himself, whether he goes to one of the promoted clubs. But I think Randolph is probably going to want to move on to get first team football.
Yeah. Another one, just quickly before we go. What do you make of Jermaine Defoe? Would you have liked us to have sniffed around that a little bit more, or are you glad we're probably not going to go down that road yet?
I didn't want him at all, really. And I would have took him in January because I thought we needed a goal scorer ASAP to get us out of trouble. But he's just too old now. I know Zabaleta sort of is, but it's just Defoe's legs can go anytime. I still remember, and I keep saying to people, all you have to do is remember Rio Ferdinand. He was world class at Man U, went to QPR and died over a summer.
Yeah.
He disappeared. He went from top game to not good enough for a relegation battling side in one summer. You get to that point as a footballer, it's just natural that you go a summer without football, anything can happen. You can age like that, and we don't know when it's going to happen to Defoe. So if you give him a 2-year deal on that sort of wage, I think that's a bigger punt than taking a 21-year-old from the second division in France for $6 million. I think Defoe on a large financial package is a bigger punt.
That's another guy, actually. Going back to that question about the dream transfers, I wouldn't mind us sniffing Tammy Abrahams as well. I do like him. I'm a big fan of Tammy Abrahams. Again, I think he's going to be going to Newcastle if you believe what you read. But yeah, it's another one I wouldn't mind as a backup striker. Loads of pace, hungry, English. So yeah. LJ Collins, the window does not open until the 9th of June, yet people are already panicking. Why is this? No one can do anything about it. So why are West Ham fans panicking, he's saying? I've not picked up that vibe yet, have you? Through social media, I haven't picked that up at all, to be honest.
No, I think people are quite calm. I think most, I didn't know, the 9th of June, I'd open on the 1st of July. But,
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I thought it was the 1st of July as well, yeah.
But no, I don't see anyone panicking. I think everybody's quite calm. Everyone's quite. I think the Zabaleta one, your last guy, the Kiwi Hammer, said has helped the atmosphere. I think it's calmed a lot of people. I think if we hadn't had Zabaleta, a lot of people would have been going, "Oh my god!" But now we've got the right back situation sorted, which has been a huge problem. I think it's chilled everyone out a little bit, and it's so we don't really need one player really now.
It's nice that it's been done quick as well. You know, like we haven't messed about. It's just boom, end the season, bang, it's done. He will get a pre-season with us.
Yeah, I think we've signed more players than 18 other teams in the league. So, you know, it's not obviously panic stations just yet.
Well, just to add to that is if Tioté and Batshuayi do move in the next 2 weeks, and it's not to us, I think we'll sense a bit of panic very quickly.
Then I might panic, yeah. Then I might panic.
I think if Everton snag one or maybe even both of them, they might do what we're saying here. They might get Iheanacho permanently and Batshuayi on loan as part of the deal for Lukaku. That's when I think everybody's levels will go through the roof going, well, who are we going for now? And all of a sudden, all those strikers that we're looking at is shrunk very quickly, just like that. So we'll wait and see.
This is a question you posted on Facebook. It inspired me to ask you, actually. It was, what was the lowest fee you would accept for Robert Snodgrass? I wanted to use it on the channel because I quite like that question. Yeah, what is the lowest? I'll go to Paul first, as it was your question.
I don't think we're going to be able to sell him. We signed him, what did we sign him for?
Yeah.
12? So, I don't see the point after 6 months really just taking a massive hit on the fee. I don't see the point. We might as well keep him for at least another 6 months and see how he does. So I wouldn't let him go for less than 10.
So you wouldn't sell him for 9 million?
I think I would take 8, to be honest. I would take 8.
I just don't. I mean, it's like saying I know what you're saying. You wouldn't take 9, but then you might be saying,
well, that's
you wouldn't take
that
8.
was my next question.
What,
If you said yes to 9, that's my next question. But I get what you're saying. The reason I asked that is because me and Gonzo did a discussion last week, and we spoke about Snodgrass, and he was saying he would sell Snodgrass for anything. But I thought, well, as I just said earlier, I'm Mr. Patient. It does bother me he's not been that good, but while I wouldn't be disappointed to leave, I wouldn't be disappointed to see him here when the window's shut in August. If he was still a West Ham player, it wouldn't bother me. I wouldn't think, oh no, the only player I really want to see us leave is Sacco. He's the only player I want gone. The only player. So Snodgrass, I don't know, even 6 million, I wouldn't be upset, but I wouldn't actively go out and try and sell him for that price. If that makes sense. If the offer is up on the table, it's a different story.
Can you?
I mean, like I say, I don't see the point in taking such a big hit for the sake of 6 months. You know, anything could happen. He could come back after a pre-season and be the player we thought he was. So no, I don't know. I'd rather hold on to him unless we're going to get close to our money back on him. I'd rather hold on to him and see how he does at least up until January.
Can you see any of the big boys moving out? I'm just going to run some names off: Lanzini, Antonio, Cresswell. Obviously, there are rumours that Ayew as well, possibly going back to Marseille. I'm just putting these rumours out there. Can you see any of those going?
I can't, no. No, not unless we get silly bids in, and I don't think we will. And no, I don't think we're going to see any of our best players leave this summer.
No, I've been quite critical of the board on a lot of things, but one thing I've never criticised the board for is selling players. I don't believe we're a selling club anymore. Under the current regime, I think I could only really name Demba Ba and Scott Parker that have left. Under them, I didn't want to leave, but we got relegated, so it's not really, it was out of their hands. Payet, obviously, but again, it's not because a bid came in and they took it, it's because of what Payet did. But I'm quite confident that the current structure, that they're tying our best players down to loan deals, and as Paul said, unless it's stupid money, every player's got a price, but it's finding that price, and sometimes it's just too much to go to do exactly.
What about Andy Carroll? Could you see him go?
Again, I don't think anyone is going to come in. If you think about the money that he's on, I think wages is going to be more of a problem than anything else. Plus, obviously, you get the feeling that he likes where he is in London. Obviously, there were rumours not that long ago about China and him going off to China, but he wasn't interested. And no, I don't think a big enough club's going to come in for him to make him want to leave. Again, it's another situation like Gio was saying about Snodgrass with Andy Carroll. I've said it before. I wouldn't be disappointed if he left, but at the same time, I wouldn't be disappointed if he was still here, as long as he's not the main striker. But I don't know. I'd be surprised if someone came in with a big enough offer to tempt him rather than to tempt West Ham.
Apart from going home, perhaps to Newcastle, that's the only one that could swing him, I think.
I wouldn't sell him.
No, I like him. I like the guy.
He's our only striker on our books right this second. He's our only striker that guarantees goals. So why would we sell him? I don't get it. Because then you right now we're talking about going and getting 2 goal scorers. You sell Carroll, you've got to get 3. West Ham ain't going to find him 3 goal scorers in one chance.
I think he's the best plan B in the league as well.
Well, we keep talking about he's on high wages, which I think is about 68 grand a week basic. I don't think it's high wages anymore. Snodgrass is on the same. Antonio's on the same. Font's on the same. It was high wages when he signed because he went through our wage structure, but now the players are starting catching up. And I think if we are going to go to the next level, you're going to have to pay 68 grand a week for bench players.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Players on the bench. And him and Billy have just announced that she's expecting their second child together now. So as Paul said, he's settled. He ain't going anywhere. The only place he might go is Newcastle. But
would you, on David Cole's comment a couple of weeks ago, on Dream team as well, back to that question of Dream teams, I would love to see Josh Cullen go next year as well at some point. Again, 20 minutes off the bench. I'm not talking about starting or leading the team, but definitely starting to get some minutes in that team.
Yeah, him and Burke. They're the two players.
Yeah, I like Burke. Well, that was a rumour actually. Reece Oxford to Mönchengladbach, was it? What do you make of that one?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's
interesting.
a fantastic deal for him and for both clubs. Chelsea recently loaned Christensen out there, who got plenty of game time. Won their Player of the Year award as well, I think. So if he's good enough, he'll get a game there, and if he's got the right attitude, he'll get a game. And call me cynical, but I'm questioning the latter part of Reece Oxford a little bit. I've got no evidence. It's just my.
No, I can definitely see that. I do question his attitude a bit.
He's chased the money with us recently over the last couple of years. I feel like he's left us hanging to get the top dollar for his age group. He's got it. He's gone to Reading. And then there's all these comments about training being difficult. And people say, well, maybe Bilic should make training harder. Are we sure it's just not that Reece Oxford doesn't like training hard? How do we know what Bilic is training? Are we sure it's just not Reece's attitude? It's just a vibe I get that he's maybe not living up to the potential we once all were led to believe in. There'd be nothing more than I'd like to see him playing for England one day, being the captain of West Ham, etc. But he's got a long, long way to go to get there. And loan deals like this is how he's going to get there.
Yeah, so especially when you look at Reece, Burke, and Cullen, who over the last 2 years cleaned up the awards at the clubs. Sorry, at the clubs that they've been at. So yeah, you want to see Oxford go on and do that. He should be going and cleaning up awards for any club that he goes to if he's that good.
Did you see the report? Rob Holdings, again, new deal at Arsenal. Currently, he's on 25 grand a year or something.
A year?
I'm pretty sure it's something like that, and it works out like 500 quid a week. And people were saying, how is it so little? But Arsenal's argument was, well, look how young he is. How many people his age are making that money? Not just in football, just in life. So someone his age is getting paid really, really well. And that's sort of Reece Oxford was chasing after playing 2 senior games for us. He was chasing that a week.
Yeah.
I don't know, but for that deal, yes, delighted. I would love to see him go out to Germany. I think out of him and Rice, one goes on loan, one stays in captains under 23s. Burke's in that first team squad.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Reece gets the West Ham thing as well. The Reece Burke knows about West Ham. He's a West Ham fan. Yeah, I would definitely like to see it. He comes in the mould of Tompkins a bit as well. Maybe slightly better at that age, I think. Because I remember Tompkins made a lot of errors early doors. SB, if you absolutely had to support a club, what club would it be? One of those funny ones there, guys. I think I've touched it already. I'd probably, a club I've always liked, and I mention them all the time. I do like Everton. I like the way they do things.
Mate, you'd support Tottenham, mate. You talk about them every week. Every week. Oh, Tottenham are amazing. Yeah, Tottenham's amazing. Every week.
That's all I've ever said. The way the club is.
There's no way I could never support another English club. I could never wear the shirt of another English club. Foreign clubs, I've got loads of different shirts. I'd have to be supporting a foreign team. I'd go and I'd take my support to Juventus.
You have to pick an English club. Go on.
Yeah, I'm sitting on the fence there a bit.
Yeah, I support Barcelona.
I couldn't do it. No,
who have you got?
I could not support another English club.
There must be another English team that you don't mind watching.
I mean, there's teams that I would say I don't mind watching because I appreciate the way they play, but I've got no affinity for them. I don't know. I'd support one of my local clubs here in Northern Ireland. I don't even know who they are, but I support one of them.
Yeah.
If I had to pick an English team, it would be Man City. It's not because of their success. I've always felt there's been a thing between the fans. I think there's always a mutual respect between us and Man City fans for each other's clubs. I've always had that vibe for some reason. I think the Zabaleta thing, I've seen a lot of interaction between the two sets of fans. You look after ours, Zabaleta, yeah. Well, so it'll probably be City for me.
Yeah, what I like about Everton as well is I like their youth policy as well. That's another thing that I've always wanted West Ham to aspire to be at that Everton level. I think that's what it is, that I look at them and think, yeah, West Ham should be aiming at that level.
Oh, just to throw this at you two, this is my own. I keep trying to get a Hammers chat, but no one else is helping me do it. Is how can Bilic play the youth when he's got no job security? How can he playing youth? You're going to sacrifice points by playing youth, right? It's just It's going to happen. Everton last year when Oxford, Lukaku turned him and scored, bang, and we took him off at half-time, right? But that's going to happen. You're just going to have to put up with it. As a football fan, we can accept that. But Bilic has got 1 year left on his deal. How can we honestly expect him next season to play youth when his job's on the line?
That's true.
He's got, what, 5-6 months to get a new deal?
What do you make of that as well? Going into next season with him only a year left on his contract. I don't agree with that, really. I don't like that idea at all.
Well, because we all preach about loyalty in footballers. Well, where's our loyalty? You can't expect Antonio, Lanzini, and Creswell to sign new deals, but you're only giving the manager 12 months. You ain't giving him a new one yet. You can't have it both ways, you know. In our way of life, our working class ways between us three, there's a thing of give and take. If you give your employer something, you expect to take something back, and vice versa. And it doesn't seem to work like that at West Ham just now. It's almost like Bilic is having to take. We're not giving Bilic enough, really. Whether that's transfers, I'd hand him a new deal tomorrow personally, and it would be. But part of that deal would be you need to start playing the youth, but in return you're getting this long-term stability contract, and we're only expecting 14th place next season. You must have. You choose which players you're going to integrate. You pick Rice, Oxford, Burke, Cullen. You pick them yourself. You're the manager. But we need to see youth players coming through. Because why should Bilic next season? Why should he play these players? Doesn't get kept on as manager. The next manager comes in. He's got this core of players, but he's also got five or six youth players who've got Premier League experience. He's going to reap the rewards from Bilic's sacrifices, which has left him without a job. I just don't. It's a vicious circle. It's
a fair point, and I think it's true across football in general. Like you say, there's no anywhere apart from, you know, even the likes of players that have been there forever, like Arsene Wenger, is now getting it. You know, so like you say, you're right. How can you expect any manager to really plan for the future and to try and put together a plan for the long-term future of a club when, like you say, they don't even know if they're going to be there in a year's time, regardless of whether they've got a contract or not. It's a good point. But I've said a few times before the end of the season, again, I think it's a disaster letting any manager go into the season with one year left on his contract, because, like you say, when it comes to signing new players, the players might want to sign because they like the idea of the manager, but then if the manager's not going to be there in 12 months, where's the motivation to sign? Same, like you say, for players signing new contracts. Yeah, I think it's bad. They either had to back him, or if they weren't going to, let him go. But going into the season with 1 year left is a disaster waiting to happen.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's it for all the questions, guys. Again, Gio, thanks very much for coming on, mate. Really appreciate it, you know, and good luck with your channel. Hopefully you can hit 10,000 subscribers by Christmas. That would be the goal, I assume.
That's optimistic. That's like West Ham again, Europa League, I think.
Yeah. But yeah, keep up the good work, mate. Thank you so much on this channel. You're the second guest we've ever had on after Jay, so bit of a privilege. You're one of the newer ones on the channel. Yeah, that's it for this week. We're hoping, guys, to have ex-West Ham employee on in the next couple of weeks, so stay tuned on Twitter. I'll announce it as soon as it comes up. Until this week, guys, keep believing. Check out Hammers Chat. They're on Twitter, Facebook. They've got their own forum. The link will be in the description, guys. Check them out. They've got some fantastic stuff over there. That's it. Keep believing, guys. Come on, you irons. Let's go.
Yeah. Thank you.
Cheers.